I'm Teisha Bader with Shalom TV's news update. The Jerusalem Post reports reaction has been mixed in Israel regarding the Israeli Attorney General's decision yesterday to recognize and pay the wages of non-Orthodox rabbis elected to serve as religious leaders of regional councils and kibbutzim. Ultra-Orthodox voices in the Knesset have strongly condemned the ruling, including United Torah Judaism Chairman Yisrael Eichler, who accused the, quote, legal regime of starting a cultural war. Eichler was not only referring to yesterday's court decision, but also to the High Court ruling earlier this year against the Tal law, which exempts full-time yeshiva students from military service. Shas Party MK Nissim Ze'ev told the Jerusalem Post last night that the High Court and the Attorney General do not have the authority to designate as rabbis, quote, people who falsify the Torah, adding, quote, this is the beginning of the destruction of the Jewish people in the land of Israel. Representatives of the political left and non-Orthodox movements condemned the criticism, saying that the court's decision to recognize Reform and conservative rabbis has been long overdue. Opposition leader Labor Party's Sheli Yachimovich welcomed the move, describing it as an important turning point in the relationship between the state and all streams of Judaism in Israel and around the world. In U.S. reaction, Rabbi Gerald Skolnick, president of the Rabbinical Assembly based in New York, praised the Attorney General's decision, calling it a, quote, dramatic step forward in the struggle for religious pluralism in Israel, adding that, quote, the historic inequities in the funding of local community rabbis in Israel has long hampered efforts to bring a greater variety of spiritual options to Israelis. Adding, quote, hopefully this decision will open the door to new and exciting Jewish spiritual opportunities that will strengthen Israel and bring Israelis to a new appreciation of Jewish tradition. Israel's defense minister Ehud Barak stated today that Israel should consider a unilateral withdrawal from the West Bank if negotiations with the Palestinians fail. Speaking at the annual symposium for the Institute for National Security Studies, or INSS, at Tel Aviv University, Barak said, quote, if it turns out that it is not possible to reach an agreement, we need to consider an interim arrangement or alternatively a unilateral step, adding that, quote, Israel cannot permit this to remain in deadlock. The Palestinian Authority responded to Barak's suggestion, saying they were opposed to any Israeli unilateral moves and that this would end the idea of a two-state solution. Nabil Abu Radene, a spokesman for PA President Mahmoud Abbas, said that any Israeli unilateral withdrawal from the West Bank would lead to the establishment of a Palestinian state with provisional borders, something that the Palestinians are opposed to. He also stressed that the Palestinians would not accept any solution that does not include Jerusalem. Israel's Strategic Affairs Minister and Vice Prime Minister Moshe Ya'alon said that he opposed Barak's proposal as well, saying that such a move would be seen as a, quote, sign of weakness. Also speaking at the INSS conference was the U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Daniel Shapiro, who stated there today that the U.S. will increase pressure on Tehran, quote, and will not relent until it achieves its goal, preventing Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. Shapiro added that, quote, the clock is ticking and the window of opportunity is closing. The ambassador emphasized that Washington is working in complete coordination with Israel on the issue. President Obama met with a group of 20 conservative rabbis and conservative movement leaders at the White House yesterday, spending an hour addressing questions on issues such as the Middle East as well as domestic concerns. Among the attendees was Rabbi Schonfeld, Executive Vice President of the Rabbinical Assembly, the International Association of Conservative Rabbis, who said that, quote, the president shared his sense of personal connection to the State of Israel and his deep knowledge and appreciation of Jewish tradition. Further saying, quote, he especially encouraged us to carry forward Judaism's message of communal responsibility and the religious mandate to seek the welfare of all people in society. Other attendees included Chancellor of the Jewish Theological Seminary, Dr. Arnold Eisen, President of the United Synagogue of Conservative Judaism, Richard Skolnick, and Director of Public Policy of the Rabbinical Assembly, Rabbi Jack Moline, who shared that, quote, the opportunity to speak with candor and depth to the President was a privilege, especially at a time when we are usually limited to sound bits and media selectivity. And that's Shalom TV's news update. I'm Teisha Bader.